Hi, I'm back in my regular space and I'm so glad to see you, or maybe I'm so glad that you're seeing me right now. Let's put it that way. Listen, have you ever thought about doing something really big? Big, I sort of mean like challenging. Well, certainly I had, and I've tried a number of very challenging things, but sometimes you think there's just no way. I couldn't possibly do that. But you can. You just have to plan it out. So my big thing that I wanted to do was to write a book. Someone like Lin-Manuel Miranda wanted to write a musical score. I'm sure at some point he probably thought, this is bigger than me, can I really do this? But he did it in a really big way, right? So today that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about a little bit of my journey around writing my book, She Just Disappeared, a mother's faith journey to find her child. This is a nonfiction, and I just happen to have a copy. Oh my. This is what it looks like. And I even, did the concept around the cover as well. So this book was a very personal journey, and it had been on my mind to do for about 10 years. But I knew that to write this, it was going to take digging up a whole lot of gunk that was sitting inside of me, a lot of pain that was sitting inside of me that I wasn't so sure that I could emotionally handle. But there was another voice, a bigger voice saying, no, you have to do this for other people. This isn't for you. This is for someone else. It could only be, perhaps just one person, but it's something that has to be written. So when I was away in Peace Corps, my thought was, I'll have time to write a book while I'm away. Well, I was really, really busy. So it wasn't until the second year that I started to write. I always took the Sabbath off. So one day a week, I would put time into the book. And I can tell you, I'd never written a book before. I really wasn't sure how to start, but I since learned there are many ways to begin. So I just started with whatever was coming to me. It was jumbled at first, but I knew that later I could make it coherent, right? It was repetitive because as I think was pulling out emotions, these emotions have been yelling, trying to get out, claw themselves out for a long time. And so they were being repeated as I wrote from week to week. I'd go back and reread and say, I said that about 3 times. Well, this kind of book maybe required that type of agonizing process. All books don't, right? So just keep that in mind. Also, it was a book that because I was trying to rush to get to the very end, I think I was leaving gaps, right? Because it was in my head. So I thought that a reader would be able to understand. I was trying to rush to the good part, the part that makes you cry from joy. So I was trying to hurry up and get there, but there are a whole lot of other things that you need to understand before you get there. But again, I was patient with myself and kind, and allowed myself to just write, knowing that I would have many opportunities to go back and rewrite and plug in those holes. So I have a little story that I tell, and there are many stories that I can tell, but this is one of my favorites. So once I got back to the United States, I had a decent first draft. Needed some more work, but at some point I went on and I gave it to an editor that I hired, Carrie Filburn. Carrie and I have developed this bond because we worked together 9 or 10 months to tighten it up. And so sometimes she had to be very patient with me because again, this was very painful to write, and it forced me to be very vulnerable. And I'm not a person that really allows a lot of vulnerability. So this was a learning process in many ways for me. So Carrie, when she read the first draft, she came back and she said, you only have a little paragraph about Job. And then you start quoting Job throughout. And, that's the baseline of the whole story, the journey of Job and the correlation. I'm thinking, What? Who? So she was talking about Job. And so from that, it helped me think about how can I make my writing more inclusive, so someone who doesn't have the background that I have, someone who's not Muslim, someone who is not Christian, who simply just doesn't know anything about Job's struggles, Job's struggle with God, that they could understand it as well. So that led to the development of a whole chapter, initial chapter on the book of Job. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff you have to deal with, but it's important to have a third person and a fourth person, just a fresh set of eyes to help you understand that you're going to have all kinds of readers. So you need to keep that in mind at all times. So real quickly, I'm going to talk about the giveaway. In my last interview, I talked with a wonderful woman, Nina Greer. So hopefully you've watched that video. And she talked about her business, Historical Dream. And her website is historicaldream.com, historicaldream.com. And she has all kinds of beautiful stuff on there. And you will be allowed to choose, an item from her store, up to $50. So you might be able to get something nice, just t-shirts and jewelry. I don't know if you can get any jewelry for $50 or not, but that's the cap that I put on it. What do you have to do for it? Well, it's a giveaway, but I'm also asking for feedback. I'm always saying this is a channel that I'm developing, so I need feedback. So please give me feedback on this video, the video before, and subscribe and like my page. And I'm just going to randomly choose someone who has done all of those things. So I really appreciate you following me. Thank you for all the birthday greetings. I got a ton from around the world. So I thank you. Thank you very much. So that's the little bit that I wanted to share about my early journey in starting this book. So don't think anything is too big for you. It isn't. I didn't think I'd ever write a book. And now I'm already planning my second book. So you can do it too. Write your musical score. Write something on the level of Hamilton, or maybe not on that level. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is you can do it. You are confident. You are powerful. And remember, God tells us that he wants to give us the desires of our hearts, right? David prayed in Psalms that we would get the desires of our heart and that the Lord will bless us in whatever it is that we want to do. So make that your prayer. All right, until next time, get your t-shirt or whatever, historicaldream.com. Bye.